So peeps, another day, another cheeky little breakdown for you beautiful little people. Now what we've got is we've got a pallet wrapper. Now what's going on is the motor overload's been taken out on this top motor. Because what we've had is we've had a mechanical breakdown on here, and this motor's kept on going, and as you can see, it's got slightly warm. To the point it's actually melted this blank out from this threaded hole here. She's got warm, boys and girls. Can't even peel that off. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this motor out. And as you can see, as we've got it on the bench here, not only is it melted the plug out, but the tails will actually feed it. They're fused together. So we've got phases there, and it's even melted itself to the grounding. Now I'm pretty sure this has been sitting there trying to run until they all melt together and it's shorted. It's even melted the old gland off. Anything plastic, it's actually turned to molten plastic. And as we've got it off on the bench, we're going to do a little testing on this. I'm pretty sure we're going to know the outcome to this, but first we're going to do an IR, or insulation resistance test. I'm going to do it to the ground of the motor first. So I've got it pinned, I've got my neutral or my black lead to the actual shell of the motor, and I'm going to be testing it at 500 volts. And that's a bit controversial, but anything without delicate components, PCB board, I always go for double the voltage it takes. So as you can see, we've got what we're looking for is anything higher than about 100 mega ohms, and we're getting at the top end, we're getting the 550. So this is good. Nothing's actually down to ground. But what I'm going to do next is phase to phase, across the phases, see what we're getting there, see if we're getting any shorts. So I'm going to put my black lead on my W, then I'm going to go across to my U and V. And as you can see, we've got no resistance there, so that's showing that we've got complete short across all of the windings. Yep, 0. So that's showing I've got no resistance across any of the phases, so that's completely buggered that motor. And we did expect it. Now you can do a resistance, just check using your ohms. Obviously you're going to be using a lot less voltage, so you're going to get higher readings. And sometimes if it's just nicked the insulation, you're going to see an open circuit because it's not going to have enough to bridge the gap between the phases. But as you can see here, this is even showing. So this has got to be quite bad inside the motor. I'm going to split it open now, and as you can see, it's actually melted the insulation that bad that it's all gone to the bottom of the motor, and all the webbing is just burnt to a crisp. She's got warm. It's lucky it didn't catch fire, but the smell gave it away before anything could really happen, and the overload did eventually go. So the root cause to this actual breakdown was, and this is why you got to be so careful, is this actual motor overload, or MPCB, there's actually motor protection circuit, is actually rated wrong for the motor that have been fitted to it. And as you can see by the overload, the minimum is 1.6, and as we can see by the nameplate taken off the motor is at 1.1. So what do these motor overloads actually do? So what they're doing, there's two things that are going to really, the main functions is, so they're looking at loss of a phase, so a balanced load across all three phases. They're also looking at and also a thermal overload. This could be from like a mechanical, like we've got here, where we had a mechanical failure and the motors kept going, so that's incurred heat. So it's looking at protecting the motor itself, doing this by the rising amps. So what do we want to be, how do we set this? What we want to be looking at is, first we want to be looking at the nameplate and checking out what the maximum load of it running is. So on ours is 1.1. And then the second thing we're going to be looking for is the SF, and that's the service factor. And this is what it can maximally run at safely above that for a short period of time. So if you've got an SF like we have on that top bit is 1.15, anything above that you're going to be timing it by 1.25, and then anything south of that is 1.15 of the full load amperage. And if you don't have an SF like we didn't have on our nameplate on the motor on the bottom picture, the one came off the machine, you'd be taking that as below the 1.5. So with that in mind, if we do a quick calculation, so we got our 1.15 because we've got no SF, times that by the motor load, which is 1.1. This overload should have really been set at 1.25. And as you can see, that's actually below what this overload could reach. So that's why it's sat there and it's got warm and then it's melted and fused itself together. And this, the whole point of this is, peeps, always pay attention to the details, because that is going to give you a cropper. Now, you ain't got to worry about the inrush current of anything on a motor like that, because if it's going to take a long while to accelerate, something like that's going to be put on VDFD, or it's going to be on a soft start. This is if you just got a motor that's going to come in and out on a contactor, and it's just protection for that.
And if you're still watching, you're legend approved.